Hello everyone, I am Burger, and I'm here with the first episode of my How Strong Is series. This is a series that measures how strong characters are with my unique power scaling system, which will be linked in the corner here. Did you see the card? Okay, well I hope you watched that video because my power scaling system is rather unique, but if for whatever reason you don't want to watch that video, I can give you a quick summary right here. The summary is that this power scaling system measures a character's potential for strength, like their maximum strength, if they were to be ambitious enough, and it gives them a score between a 0 and a 3 in 4 categories. The 4 categories are somewhat unique, and I will be going into them this episode. This episode, I will be talking about how strong Luffy is. And remember, since I am talking about fiction, everything I'm about to say is an opinion, and opinions are subject to change, so if you have something you disagree with me on, I would love to hear you say it. So without further ado, let us begin. I feel like Luffy is a good character to start with, as his character has appeared the most in the story by far, and he has gone through the most character development. Now, a character's score can change only when they go through character development, so this is a really good basis to start with. Now let me start with the score that has not changed at all for Luffy. Luffy's greatest score, and that is strength/willpower. Strength/willpower. So strength and willpower are the same score. I explained my reasoning for that in the video here. Just want to make it very clear that that video will answer a lot of your questions. Anyways, he has always been able to put out a whole lot of strength. He's always had the most willpower for his stage in the Grand Line. As he went down the Grand Line, he always had the maximum amount of willpower he could have. So as he went further down, of course his willpower got stronger, and his strength along with it. However, it was always his greatest strength, and therefore he had the greatest potential in strength/willpower, which in my opinion is the most important skill for a captain, a main fighter, or anyone who wants to be Pirate King. The second category I'm going to describe for Luffy is the category that has changed the most, and that is the Devil Fruit usage category. Now, Luffy got his Devil Fruit at a very young age, so he made use of a difficult-to-use Devil Fruit. However, at the beginning of the story, I would only give him a score of 1, as he really used just kind of random attacks, and he even got into trouble at the All Along Park arc, when he stuck his feet into the ground and got stuck. That was a really dumb move. But, over time, he slowly made more moves, and it was around the time Crocodile told him, stop using random attacks and actually fight me, that he realized, I need to use some real attacks, and so his Devil Fruit usage improved to a 2. And then, his Devil Fruit usage score moved up to a 3 when he went to Ennie's lobby. That's when he really started to use creative use of his abilities, using blood oxidation to speed himself up, and inflating his bones to increase his strength, which doesn't make any sense at all, is very creative use of his powers. I would say, however, that Gear 4th, in addition to 2nd and 3rd, is still only worthy of a 3, because Gear 4th just seems like it's a whole lot more difficult to use. So it's the next natural evolution of having a 3 in Devil Fruit usage. So you see what I'm saying about potential? So, because he realized he wasn't using his Devil Fruit appropriately, he moved up to a 3, and as he got stronger, he reached the next natural stage of evolution. And so, his score in Devil Fruit usage is currently a 3. He's got pretty good scores so far. The next score I'm going to talk about is one of Luffy's lower scores for some time. It recently went up, however, and that is his skill/senses. Skill improves usage with the weapon, aim, the ability to aim properly with sight and hearing, and martial arts. And Luffy, for a long time, only had a 1, because he didn't really focus on fighting style. Zoro even mentioned this back in, what was that place called? Whiskey Peak. back in Whiskey Peak that Zoro focused on skill and Luffy focused on brute strength. However, after, well, I mean, I guess you should be expecting spoilers if you're watching One Piece videos. A huge spoiler from several years ago, in 321, when Ace died, Luffy realized he was doing things all wrong and he was weak. And that is when he went to train with Rayleigh, and when you see all the creative ways he combined Haki with his Devil Fruit usage and martial arts, I would say that's all those things in combination put him up to a skill of 2. Well, mostly it's using his Devil Fruit and willpower to use Haki and Devil Fruit. It takes a lot of skill to use them in such clever combination. Like his Culverian, probably pronounced that wrong, attack, I would say it takes skill in martial arts to come up with that attack. So his current score in skill/senses is a 2. And obviously with such a fast-moving arm that keeps speeding up and changing direction, you would need incredible senses to hit properly. So, skill and senses are equal. And now we get on to what I think is Luffy's most interesting score, and that is his tactics score. Now, brief summary of what tactics are. Any sort of plan that you can come up with, or someone else's plan that you can follow through on, gives you score in tactics. So that includes extremely dirty tricks, because if it gives you an advantage, you have that advantage. Now, I would say at the beginning of the story, Luffy straight up had a 0 in this score. But somewhere along the lines, he grew more careful, because Luffy believes in ultimate freedom. He believes that his actions shouldn't have consequences. And I think the breaking point from when he got just even a 1 in that score was when his crew lost an utter defeat at the hands of Kizaru and Bartholomew Kuma, even though Kuma was the one who actually saved them. And then when Ace died, I would say that his score didn't go up right at that moment, but he was really thinking about it more. And, there was just a whole bunch of events after his crew got defeated, like his failure at Impel Down and the death of his brother, that made him think, I need to figure out how to be a better planner and be more careful with my decisions. And I think the breaking point for him was the meeting of Trafalgar D. Water Law. Damn, is his name badass. But anyways, Trafalgar D. Water Law has a 3 in this score, I would say, because he created up a grand plan to defeat Kaido. And while this plan didn't go as planned, I mean, let's face facts here, it's a Yonko you're dealing with. It's not gonna go as planned. It's difficult to scope just how powerful they are. And that includes all of their resources as well. But Luffy followed through on quite a few of Law's plans. And, Luffy wanted to rush in and kick Doflamingo's ass, as he was saying, but Trafalgar's like, no, we gotta come up with a plan. And Luffy followed through on that plan. He even successfully deceived, Doflamingo, and managed to get a free hit on him with, the old switcheroo attack, Shambles, that Trafalgar D. Water Law can use. I like saying his full name. And then, without Law present, it was shown that Law's intelligence had rubbed off on Luffy, as recently, in Whole Cake Island, he created a very, very good plan of creating lots of clones of himself with Brulee's power. Yeah, he gave himself away, but the fact that he came up with it did result in Mother Caramel's photo being broken, because if he hadn't disguised lots of animals as himself, Brook couldn't disguise himself as one of the clones, and therefore Brook couldn't have piggybacked off of Luffy's plan. And, just a side note that shows Luffy's maturity, in the most recent chapter, Luffy showed a lot of maturity in general. and so I would say his tactics is a 2 nowadays. So, all in all, if you look at his score on the screen right now, it's a pretty darn good score, and there's still room for improvement at the end of the story. The only thing that would give someone a 3 in tactics is a grand scheme, like how Big Mom planned a red wedding, like in Game of Thrones, and how Trafalgar Law created an ultimate plan to destroy a Yonko's infrastructure, and how Blackbeard created a plan to kill the strongest man in the world. These are all plans worthy of a 3 in tactics. However, Luffy has never created a plan like that. He's only done a very good job off of piggybacking off of other people's plans, which is still worthy of a 2. So, all in all, you can see on the screen here, so 3, 3, 2, 2 is his score. So that's a total of 10. I think I did that right in my head. I'm creating the pictures afterwards. So he has a score of 10, and a maximum score is 12. And a minimum score is, of course, 0. So I would say Luffy is pretty good. Pretty good indeed. He definitely has the potential to be the Pirate King. And other characters I'm planning to do in the near future are Rob Lucci, Katakuri, and Big Mom, as they are, like, my favorite 3 villains. I like Doflamingo, but not as much as those 3. They're all great. They're all great. I like them all. Any villain that Oda gives a backstory to is just amazing. Because Oda is really good at making scary villains, but when he gives them a backstory, oh boy, they are so much better. Well, that's gonna be for today, everyone. Bye!